All right, so we are live here on the Sports24 Show. We sincerely apologize for the late start to the show. These were due to some technical challenges, but we have resolved it. And as I earlier on indicated, we have Alhaji Rhyzo. He is a Northern Regional Football Association chairman. We are very privileged to have him here. We are going to talk about a very, very important issue or issues, especially with the regional football terrain. That is exactly what we are going to look at. Alhaji, good evening and welcome.
Good evening. And thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you so much for... Okay, let me first of all, we were chatting and I realized that you had changed your DP to a Liverpool emblem or a Liverpool logo. Are you a Liverpool fan?
A strong one at that.
All right, congratulations after 30 years.
Thank you. The sleeping giants are now awake, and then from now onwards, I believe we are going to dominate English football.
Okay, that's good to know and then good to hear. Quickly, before we even go into the substantive issue, how is the region faring in terms of football? Your general view of how the region is faring before COVID-19, so that we can build it up from there, how it was faring before COVID brought everything to a halt.
Well, generally, we're gearing up for the commencement of the season, putting the necessary preparations in place for the commencement of the season. Clubs were registering in earnest, trading players here and there, engaged in pre-season training, and then all of a sudden, boom, COVID came and then reversed everything.
Okay. Ghana football, we are looking at the cancellation of the football season. That is a substantive issue that we would be looking at now. In your opinion, do you think a continuation would have been the best way forward?
Well, depending on where you stand, but in my opinion, well, for advocates or for people who thought that the season should continue, and I think that was the view espoused by the FA General Secretary and then the FA President himself. So if you look at it, you realize that there was a very strong and compelling case for the continuation of the season. One is that since we had the announced expose christened number 12, football got truncated, and then since then we have not played active football for some time until normalization came in, and then organized some makeshift tournaments and competitions. And then normalization also had its own attendant problems and then challenges, and then normalization went. Then the new regime came in. So you realize that if you are an administrator, and then for close to almost 2 years, you have not had a continuous flow of football or soccer, definitely you will be forced in one way or the other to think that at least the football season should continue. Then if you also consider the fact that we Technology, I just got hard lights out here.
Oh, okay.
If you also consider the fact that, well, it's back, thank God. If you also consider the fact that the new administration wanted to actually make a very good case by seeing this season through, so that at least people could use it as a measuring rod to judge their performance. You realize that there was every reason why the new administration and almost lovers of football should push for the continuation of this particular season. Then you had the issue of sponsorship, Star Times, and then MTN. These were corporate entities that had decided to support Ghana football. Star Times with the main Premier League itself, and then MTN for the FA Cup. Then midway through, everything, boom. The competition, the season is supposed to be truncated. You realize that if you are an administrator and a football person, just to be able to retain this sponsorship, you would definitely push for the continuation of the season. Then you also had the catchphrase, bring back the laugh. Ghanaians and then the football community were beginning to resonate with that particular catchphrase, and you realize that it was becoming evident with the numbers we were beginning to get in our various stadia. People were going there in their numbers now. The excitement was building up, the euphoria was there, and then people were beginning to watch our game. Then all of a sudden, COVID's come in, and then we are supposed to halt. No, definitely, there will be the need to move ahead and then sustain that interest, renewed interest that was now coming in. Then you realize that our players had gone rusty through the Anas Expose era all this while, and then they were just now beginning to pick up again. So you wouldn't want a situation where the players would go back again to where we started after football came to a halt for some time. So the need to get our players battle ready at all times and then continue to let them turn out good performances was also a compelling reason why there was the need for us to actually continue the season. Then you look at lucrative transfer deals, player transfer deals that were supposed to be on hold. Honestly, if you consider the fact that if players are not playing regularly, performance definitely is going to come down. And if you are to move them out to go and then trade, maybe or send them out on transfer, they'll go there and they will not be able to perform like their colleagues elsewhere. So you realize that the person has the talent, but he's not conditioned well enough because of lack of regular play. Then you realize that clubs will definitely be missing out on lucrative player deals and contracts. So if you are an administrator, you'll be pushing for the continuation of the season just to ensure that you are able to leverage on some of these things, keep your players in good shape, and then when there are invitations, definitely you would move out there. Then you also have
very well said. With all, yeah,
okay,
yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Then the other issue is that COVID-19 pandemic had come to stay with us. Whether we like it or not, it's not a disease that is just a flash in the pan that is moving away. So if it has come to stay with us, just like malaria, HIV, AIDS, and tuberculosis and the rest, why don't we devise strategies, adjust and adapt, and then continue with our game? Do we have to truncate the season just because COVID has come, when we are not too sure when COVID is going? Are we saying if for the next 10 years COVID is with us, we are not going to play football? So from that angle, if you look at it from that angle, then you would be forced to actually push for the continuation of the season. So I think these were some of the salient points. Then other clubs had already spent money, pre-season training, signed contracts, giving players some amount of money already, and then the league was underway. Then all of a sudden, we are supposed to truncate it. It means that all those monies had gone waste. And it doesn't actually motivate or encourage other people to put in money. And then if you look at it from that angle, you are forced to push for the continuation of the league.
Okay, so alternatively, why would a football person like you support the cancellation of the 2019-2020 football season?
Well, first and foremost was the the COVID pandemic itself. One, it has come to stay with us. Yes, like I said, on the flip side, it had come to stay with us, but we were not adequately prepared for it. So, and looking at its devastating nature, do we still go ahead to say that, well, irrespective of whether we are well prepared for it or not, we should continue, and then it will continue to kill and then kill a lot of our people? The wisest thing to do under the circumstances will be to retreat, go and sit down and then map out strategies that you would use to be able to adapt to the situation. And then when you come out, you see that you'll be well prepared to be able to adjust or move along with the COVID. But if you are not prepared, and then all of a sudden a strange disease or ailment just comes in, and then you think that, no, let's play the full hardness. Let's also go ahead and say we are playing our football. The effect could be very, very disastrous. So I think that the wisest thing under the circumstances will be to beat a retreat, go and organize yourself very well. And then when you are coming this time, you know that there is a disease that is devastating. And these are the kind of ways, these are the measures you are going to put in place before you start playing. Then the other issue is about curtailing extra cost. People have sunk money into football for the season. But at least if you take clubs like maybe Division 1 clubs, let me use Division 1. They had 29 matches to play. They have played 12 matches. They still had about 17 matches to go. Yes, you would say, as a bystander, well, money has been spent. But if you look at the expenditure yet to be incurred, you will see that that one is even much bigger than the 12 matches. You have 17 matches still there for you to play. Then you have played only 12. If you look at the way things, you see that you still have expenditure there to incur. Then apart from the normal expenditure you would incur, now you are taking on board extra load because of COVID. You would need to test your players. Apart from testing, you will be forced to be giving them nose masks regularly. You are supposed to provide hand sanitizer. And then if you are training, you are supposed to have Veronica buckets, soap, and all other water.
Yeah.
This definitely will be extra cost that nobody envisaged at the beginning of the season. Then you also have the fact that even if you are traveling, you need to get at least 2 buses to move the team so that at least players should be well spaced in the buses. Clubs are really struggling even to get 1 bus to put their players in to go and then play matches. And if you have to move from here to Gosu to play a match, from here to say Brekum, and then it's that you need 2 buses to hire 2 buses, and then the players will sit and then have space in between them to go. Clearly, if you travel for 4 or 5 matches, definitely you will ground to a halt. So to curtail cost, definitely you would advocate that, look, let's truncate the season, organize ourselves very well, see what is ahead of us, prepare adequately, and then when we are facing it, we know that we are well prepared. Then the other issue is about trying to synchronize our calendar with that of Europe. At least if we halt it now, and then we put in place the necessary arrangements, it's possible we can at least flow along with Europe. And then when we need our players to come and then play for national teams or come for training campaign and other things, player transfers, we won't have a situation where our Premier League is in session, and then players will have to move out there to go for trials and other things to the disadvantage of their clubs locally here. You realize that if the league is ended there, our league is ended. So if a player is to go for trial or is to go for, everything is perfect. It's not a disadvantage to our clubs here. So that is also another reason. Then we also have enough the issue of playing in empty stadia. You realize that elsewhere, or even throughout Ghana, apart from the sale of players, is the gate proceeds that most clubs use to run the teams. So in the absence of gate proceeds, where you are supposed to play in empty stadia, clearly it's going to impact negatively on the clubs because the revenue is definitely not going to be there. And this is what they rely on heavily in most places. So if there's no, and the other issue is whether you can even prevent the supporters from coming to the field to come and watch, because most of the, from Division 1 downwards, most of the fields will play are open parks, such that it's going to be very difficult to regulate people. 1, they will not pay, and then 2, they will mass up in their numbers to watch the matches, and you will not have adequate security, especially in this period where political activities are also ongoing. It's going to be difficult for the security to be able to provide security for our political actors and then football at the same time. So if you look at it, the wisest thing would be that, look, let's truncate the season, organize ourselves, and then come out very, very stronger. Then the other issue is just that, yes, if you are forewarned, there is a pandemic. This is the way we all need to approach the new season. Then we all agree on the ground rules. I believe when we start a new season, we'll start it on a very good scale than trying to crush ourselves within just a few months. You see what is happening in Europe, especially England. You just play today, you rest for 2 days, and then you are playing again. If we bring it here, it's going to be very, very difficult. It means we're just rushing the season through. And then you would have a situation where in our what part of the world here, a club will go and play an away match and then come home to prepare again and then organize resources for the next away match. So if the club has to play matches every 3 days or every 2 days, clearly it's going to be difficult to raise that finance to be able to move around and then play some of these matches. And then you don't need to do something at the end of the day that will not impress people you want it to impress so that they can come on board. So it's always good to do things the right way, and then at least you get it right. So if you look at it from this point, I think that there is a very good and then genuine reason why the league, irrespective of the earlier advantages that would accrue to it if the season had proceeded, progressed, definitely you would call for, stopping it and then ensuring that you prepare adequately and then come up without any hitches.
Very well said. Now let's come back to the region. We are narrowing it down to the northern region. How has the cancellation of the 2019-2020 football season affected the region in terms of the Football Association?
Well, definitely we had mapped out strategies to ensure that at least we do things a bit differently. And all of a sudden, COVID came, and it appears lights has gone off again. COVID came,
yeah.
and then it appeared we cannot see through with our programs. So that actually has been a very, very big blow. You realize that we were in the process of even going round to inaugurate the district football associations. But COVID came, and that one too had to come to a standstill. We wanted to go there, have the political actors, the district chief executives, education, and then what have you, almost all the key stakeholders in the game, get them into one hall, and then we'll do the inauguration and then let them feel that they are a part of the game, so that anytime our clubs go knocking on their doors for support, they will know that, well, they were recognized, and then the clubs or the district football association has been handed to them to also nurture in their various districts. So I believe it was something that was well thought out, but unfortunately, COVID came, and then that too didn't see the the light of day. We had plans to actually get most of our professional players who come on holidays to actually do coaching clinics with most of the clubs, at least just meet them, the workers, the worries, and then and then let them move from one club training today to the next club, and then other things, just to actually ginger the boys up, let them feel that, well, they are also capable. They started just like they are doing, and then if they are disciplined enough, and then they are committed to the game, definitely the sky will be their limit. And then also get some retired footballers who would mentor these people, go and then talk to them, give them wise counsel, and then let them see their situation, and then just educate them, and then, in fact, let them know that, well, if they stay focused, very disciplined, the sky will be their limit. Apart from that, we're also looking at capacity building, where coaches would definitely be trained, club executives will be given training, the other officers in the team, the medical masseurs and then other things would all be given refresher training to ensure that at least things are done and then done professionally. But all these things have had to come to a halt just because of COVID. And I believe that most people, if we had had these capacity building workshops, and even our media were supposed to organize one for the media, sports presenters, sports callers, sports analysts. Then each radio station would have been asked to at least bring in, if it is 5 people, and then would have resource persons taking them through the media work, and then how to at least improve upon sports presentation, sports analysis, and then so on. And I believe that if people had taken their time and gone through that workshop, would have seen marked improvement on our airwaves. But unfortunately, all this have not seen the light of day because of COVID. So invariably, I think that COVID has not been a very good ally as far as Northern region is concerned, because it was actually a power-packed something. And then if we had gone through it and then people stayed committed to, and then were ready to learn, I believe that at the end of the day, we would have seen serious improvement in our game up here. Apart from that, even when it comes to
very
player,
well, an elaborated one. Yeah. Yes, please go ahead if you are not done.
Yeah, apart from that, when it comes to player transfers and then the benefits thereon, in fact, it was the intention of, it was my intention to liaise with the regional ESCO so that we could invite a personality like Ashford Teteoku to come down. And then everybody knows he's a guru when it comes to issues of transfer, adjudication, when it comes to disputes and then other things. He could come and then share his rich experience with us so that at least we bear the cost of flying him from Accra to Tamale. He comes and then organize a workshop, and then at least he imparts knowledge, and then at the end of the day, at least if it's even sleepy and the following day moving back again. And I think that this is somebody that is respected in the corridors of FIFA. And if we are fortunate to have him here to take people through the transfer, how players are transferred from one club to the other, documentation you need, the processes you have to go through in case of future benefits, how the steps to take to be able to get those benefits. In fact, you should be aware of the benefits even before you can try to access the benefits. So if you don't even know the benefits are accruing to you, add on whether, there are any other benefits you start to gain right from coach level up to the professional level, amateur level, professional level, and so on. I think that these are all these nitty-gritties he would have explained everything to us. And if a club is cheating you out there, refusing to pay you your monies, what do? Then he would have taken the clubs through, and then everybody would have been well versed with what it means, so that you don't just train players and then, no, this is my player, then he goes and then you collect some few epithets, and then that is the end of it. No, at least there's still money you would continue to gain as the player moves from one club to the other. These are all things that at least so we had in mind. Even how to protest. Most teams, you'll be surprised, would have a case, okay, but how to even go through the protest, what they need to be able to make a very strong case, so that at least they can win a case at the disciplinary committee level and whatever. It's also a major challenge. So these are all areas would have brought resource persons to come and then take people through, build their capacity. And I think that when it comes to the area of coaching, technical distance, in fact, we are still in the process. All clubs will be asked to bring their technical list, their technical team members, and then the various licenses they have. Is it license A, B, C? Is it the introductory, or those who don't even have? So that we categorize them. We know the number of coaches in our region with license A, those with license B, those with license C, and then those at the introductory stage, those who don't have at all. And then at least we would see how on yearly basis we can at least support and then push for the organization of courses here, so that as many of them as possible at least would have access. If this quarter or this half year we are able to sponsor a few of them, those who also have money and they need a little bit of push to add up and then access those courses, then we'll try and see how we can cushion them with the system. And I think that at the end of the day, you would see that you would have a region that has well-trained technical people. And if at the juvenile level we have people like that at the juvenile level, the players are going to actually learn the basic rudiments of the game before they grow up, so that you don't have situation where players are 17 years and then you are still teaching them how to control ball and then how to do, when the Ronaldos and the Ronaldinos by the age of 21, they are gunning for the world best. And at 18, we are still teaching them how to control ball here. Definitely you realize that the gap is just too wide. But if you have coaches at that level who are well trained, and even those who are educated and associated with them, would force and then encourage them to take to coaching. Some of them are administrators currently, but you realize that they have the potential to be able to learn and then become coaches, very good coaches. So when you have situations like that, you encourage them and then you push them there. And then within the twinkle of an eye, you see that you begin to bring a lot of change to the clubs. Sometimes those who have the passion, unfortunately, and are committed at club level, unfortunately, are not literate enough. So they have building and then coaching this thing, because a lot of them has to do with reading and writing. But those who taught all of us at the coast level how to play football are people who couldn't actually read and write, but they just had passion for the game. But things have gone beyond that now. And then it's as much as possible, we would encourage those young ones to begin to flow through. So there were a lot of actually good things we were looking at. In fact, even with the those who were administrators in clubs and other things, there were plans were far afoot to try and then link up with this YEA and then NAPO something, which currently, at least the Premier Women's Club are going to benefit from. You have heard about 480 players, 30 registered players within each club would be benefiting from that YEA program. So that at least if for the next 6 months, every month, she's going to take 500 Ghana cedis from the Youth Employment Agency because she's playing as a Premier League player. At least it will relieve the clubs of that burden of having to be buying sanitary pads, having to be giving them chop money, buying food. Just at least 500. If you cut your coat according to your size, you are still with your parents and then other things, and then at least you are taking 500. At least the clubs will now concentrate on the very key issues, and then the ladies would also sort themselves up with this. And I think that if that had happened, and then almost every club had about at least 2 people employed in one of these agencies, at the end of the day, at least it would have benefited the teams quite well. When Coles players now run to you, you can be able to put your hand in your pocket and then also give us some 10 cedis, 5 cedis or something as a result, because this time you are also on income, regular income at the end of the month. And football would have been better for all of us. So invariably, I think there were very good plans we had in place, but COVID has come to at least reverse all that. But we will still keep them afoot or afloat, and then just hope that things will normalize, and then we'll begin to implement them again.
Very well. I'm excited about it because I'm picturing it, and I'm praying that this COVID issue should subside, and then we would be able to achieve all these. Yes, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
I'm not hearing.
Okay.
Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Hello? I'm not hearing anything.
Okay. I work on my microphone. Is it okay now?
Wow. I'm not hearing anything.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Hello? Wow.
Okay, so we would work on it and then see. Quickly, let me.
Hello? I'm not hearing you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Very well. Yes. I was saying that with everything that you have elaborated, I can see the picture and it looks very beautiful. Just praying that COVID would subside and then we can help you roll out all these, or we can give any support that is needed. Now, let's talk about the FIFA COVID-19 Relief Fund.
Yeah.
The approval is given. How will this help the nation and the region as a whole?
Well, we have been told at least $1 million is coming through, and then additional $500,000 for specifically for the ladies or women football. So when it comes to that $500,000, that one, we call it earmarked funds, is coming specifically for a cause, and that is to improve women football. So we will definitely push for the regional football associations to also get our fair share of that to develop football, especially women's football at our end here. I have always said during my campaigns that northern region, when it comes to women football, they are already well organized. All we need is to build the capacity and then inject some discipline and sanity into the system, and then we'll be good to go. So we need funding, and then once the funding comes, you'll be able to build their capacity, you'll be able to provide the logistics, and it can only be better. Because if ladies play, and then they go to play, and then the pitches, there are no pitches for them to actually even play football on. Sometimes you go to some of the places inside the forest with some makeshift structures. The parks are not up to standard. When you measure them, some small size pitches, and then that is where the goalposts are anything. So clearly you don't have nets there behind the goalpost, where at least players would be tempted to score, shoot, and then the ball would go into the net. Normally, when the net receives the ball, it's just an excitement. There's something exciting about it in itself. But if you score a goal, and then the referee will have to run and go and ask whether the ball really entered the net, goal post or not, just because there's no net at the back of the post, then clearly it leaves a lot to be desired. When you have a goal post that they have used a wood to tie with a rope over, and then a goalkeeper cannot even jump and then hold the goal post, and then also show some skills small, then clearly we are just worrying or disturbing people's kids for nothing. So we will definitely push. Honestly, our group that's the regional FA chairman that are there at the moment, at least the new ones that have come to join the old ones, we are really pushing and then coming up with good suggestions and other things, which at least almost everybody take on board. And then when we are presenting, we present it forcefully. And I think that the GFA itself is beginning to respect the FAs now, unlike this time around. You realize that at least the president and then his team are beginning to see that no, people have ideas, and then when people push those ideas forward and then they take them, at least it will be better for Ghana football. And then most of the things that are being implemented, you see that, well, initially, like they said, 10 million affiliation fee. Then you go there and tell them, well, the situation, they say things look alike, but they aren't the same. So let's not just compare apples with tomatoes or oranges. Monkeys play, they say monkeys play according to sizes. So let's try and then beat it down so that at least as many people as possible would be able to afford it. And then since we are growing football, as we go on, we can begin to, but for now. And we have to go and then amend the statutes again, that portion, and then bring it down from that 1,000 across board, which was for both juvenile Division 2s, the Division 3s women football at least, and it was now brought scale down to 500, 300, 200. And I think that those are some of the suggestions we are putting up, and they are being received wholeheartedly and being implemented. So I think that we are making a headway. And once these funds arrive, we will definitely push strongly for the regions to also get, and then we'll use it to develop the game here. And then with the 1 million to definitely, it will definitely trickle down. Once even the name attached to it was operational, once it is operational, it means that at least there's no way you can distribute it without adding the various regional football associations. And I think that all other stakeholders, from what I'm hearing, at least would benefit from it. So once it comes, ours is just looking at development, and then at least so that a year, 2 years from now, when we sit down back and then look at where we have come from, and then what we are beginning to see, at least we'll know that, well, when we were making our decisions on those to elect as leaders of the region, we chose the right people. So definitely, I think it will show. It will surely show. Yeah.
Very well. Another pressing issue has to do with the cancellation of the football season. The FA has indicated that all records will be wiped out. But then accrued fines, the FA says that clubs should pay. Some clubs are not happy. I don't know. Can you explain this for us?
Well, the issue is that honestly, if you ask of my personal opinion, I would have said if we are scrapping the season, then all punitive sanctions should go with the season so that we can start on a fresh note. That is my personal opinion. But I represent the FA here. So if you are looking at it from the other side, the idea is to actually put in corrective measures that would at least let people not repeat mistakes or errors they have committed. Most of these are errors intentional. When it gets to fines and other things, then it means that these are willful errors or that people have committed. If somebody attacks a referee and the person is fined, you would expect that you should still, even if you cancel the league, you should still push for the person to pay the fine, and then he will learn from it so that next time he doesn't attack a referee. Yeah. If a player assaults a colleague or a referee, you would definitely wish that he goes through the sanctions, and then they'll serve as lessons for other players, not just himself, but others, to be able to move away from those deviant behaviors. So, even though the season has come to an end, but you'd realize that sometimes to be able to move into the new season with people knowing very well that, well, this regime is not coming to actually hit people with kids' gloves and other things. That is, if you don't fall foul of the law, you definitely, the heavy hand of the law would come heavily on you. People will begin to become wary of some of these things. And then once people begin to behave normally, then it can only be good for the game, because people would like to associate. Most people don't want to come because of the rowdy nature of some supporters or some centers and so on. But if sanctions are applied to support against supporters, against players, against club officials, and so on, then you begin to see that there will be sanity in there, and then people will begin to do things the right way. Because the indiscipline seriously is too much. The same people who complain that, well, corporate Ghana is not coming to our aid are definitely the same people who create the problems. Just look at COVID-19. The president of the nation, His Excellency Nano Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo says, look, not until 31st July, when the government will decide whether we should start kicking football or not, there should be a halt. Then you have people busily training. Why are you training? Simply indiscipline. They say all contact sports, we should refrain from group training. We have had to send out flyers telling them individuals could do jogging and then brisk walking just to keep fit. If you are talented and you have the skills, all you need to do is to do your individual jogging and then do some brisk walking alone and other things, and then you would be fit. Anytime they say come and play, you would definitely be ready to play. But you have seen, oh, they'll tell you people are hiding here and playing, people are there playing and all that. You can't make yourself a policeman all over the place. And sometimes that is where I think the media should direct their attention to some of these ills and then also begin to hammer on them. But we have become willing accomplices, because if we are not hitting hard on those who are deviants or just not ready to support the cause of the game, then at the end of the day, if I'm moving around and I see people busily playing football, and then tomorrow next you come again and then you say, oh, you need support from my company or something, this thing will be done. No, these people are not disciplined, because I can't imagine that in this COVID era and with the directives that no, footballing should be halted, the president of the nation, the FA president, the regional chairman, the district chairman, and then still people are playing football. And you turn around and go to the same people again and say you need support. No, definitely they will turn you down. And that is what is in the system. So honestly, even though I would have wished that at least we just start on a very clean slate when we are beginning the season, but sometimes because of this errant behavior, you will definitely have to punish the culprits.
Very well. We are almost ending. Some are also of the view there's an option for member associations to access loan. Do you think Ghana should go in for a loan, the FA?
Well, the issue is, what are you going to do with the loan? It's not just a question of going in for money. First of all, you should know what you want to do with the money. And then if you think that there is a genuine reason why you need the money, and then you have a program or a plan in place to be able to use to execute, so that when at the end of the day is accountability time, when I turn around like this, I should be able to look at ABC. This is what the money was used for. But if just because they say, oh, it's interest-free loan, I didn't want to go there. That was why I was talking and then I left there. Because if they say because it is interest-free loan, come and collect, then you go and collect the money and then you come back like most people do. They go to bank to go and then collect salary advance. Just because the banks are giving loans, then they come home and now decide what to do with the money. So anybody who thinks this way could actually do without that money. But just because people are collecting, just because the banks are ready to collect, the person is on salary, the person goes to collect it. What are you going to do with that money? You should be able to put a finger on something concrete that you want to do with the money. You have done your needs assessment as a nation, and then you know that in this area, we have gaps here that we need to actually fix. So once you do that and then you know where you want to pump in the money, then definitely you can go and access the money. If you ask me, if Northern Region is asked to collect an interest-free loan, the issue is that I need to first of all sit down and see how am I paying the loan back. If that is one, I need to identify what I want to do with the money. If it is something that will not be able to generate anything to pay back the loan, then definitely it's a no-no for me. Because when you collect it, you will not be able to pay back, irrespective of the fact that there is no, irrespective of the fact that there's no interest attached to it. Because as to what I want to do, if I get it, yes, I could do AstroTurf, put most of the force of late. When you go around the new stadium, you will see that a lot of work is being done there. Want to get as many fields as possible around that place. Caladan want to get at least 3 good pitches there. So if I get money like this, Caladan, the main Caladan pitch like this, definitely we'll put AstroTurf on it, and then to be ready for play. And then maybe some put a fence, 1 or 2 also, put an inner perimeter, and then other things. Put a stand where when it's even raining, at least people can sit in, and then or in the hot sun, people can sit in a shade and then be watching. If you invite dignitaries to come and then watch a Colts game or juvenile game at Caladan, at least if it is the Rips fault, the Eagles fault or some, at least if you have a pavilion sort of where it can even sit about 30 people, and then maybe a zinc on top of it, where roof with poles and other things. When you have matches, you can earmark some people, invite them down, and when they come down, we're not going to stand in the hot sun. At least they would sit down and watch this match. If you are able to entice such people to come and watch your games, when the juvenile associations, either the districts, metro, are beginning to approach them for support, they will be willing to give, because they have come and they have seen what the kids are doing. But if you invite them and they come and they are just to stand in the hot sun like that, definitely at the end of the day, they will become discouraged. So
yeah, even when they see a skillful kid, they might not be able to remember, because they themselves are not comfortable watching.
Comfortable, yeah. So sometimes people would definitely, because you want to enjoy the game. That is why mostly you will need to sit, relax. They serve you some water or a drink, and then there's some ice chest where you have some cold drinks and water. At least then they serve them while they are seated there. Then somebody, just that respect you have given him, cold drink, mineral. He thinks that, no, these people, I need to do something. And then you would have very good plans for you. So sometimes when I am invited to functions, and then I go, and then the organizers themselves have not made provisions for water, and then some of these things, it appears you are not serious. That is just the way I look at you.
Definitely.
Because if you invite the person and the person has to travel several miles and then come there, and then you have not even thought it twice to get a bottle of water and put there to serve that person, then clearly you are not doing football, because it means that you are not planning to even receive that person in the first place. So those are some of the things. So it's good to go in for loans, but you should know what you are going to do with that money, and then you should also have a plan that would be able to generate money to pay back. If you cannot pay back that loan, then definitely you are not going to be in power forever. You are just going to create a debt for your successor to come and then be grappling with, which will not be very, very fair. So sometimes it just boils down to trying to cut our coat according to our size. if you look at your resource base as a region, and then you manage small, but if others are running and then you don't want to limp before and then you can limp, it's better you limp small. But if you get up and then you go, some people are printing t-shirts, 50 Ghana for people and other things, and then you also get up and then you go and do it. It means that you are just copying blindly. We all have our peculiar problems in our regions. So you identify what is your problem. We are beginning to identify it. I have noted that we have the problem of infrastructure. We don't have the fields to play football. So let's begin to fix that as a distance. Then once we do that, then at least we are beginning to lay the foundation for the game. Football is not just about drawing fixtures for people to go and play football. Where are they playing? The fixtures have been drawn. You need to take a keen interest in where you play the matches to. And that is why of late you have seen that we have been very, very busy moving from pitch to pitch, just trying to ensure that at least when the game comes back, we'll be well prepared, and then people will definitely enjoy the game.
So am I picking the signal from you that we are working so hard that tomorrow, if the green light is given, that football is restarting or the new season is restarting, we'll have something like a festive sort of football in the region?
Certainly. As I speak to you now, at least we have footballs. We have taken delivery of about 100 of them for matches. So they are there, the Puma footballs. So definitely, if we are able to get the pitches done, like it's been done, and then we have about 5 good pitches at maybe around Stadium Annex, and then we have league fixtures, and then you have 5 matches going on concurrently at the same time with 2 Puma footballs, and then we are able to provide nets and other things, and it will just be a delight to watch. Anybody passing there, either with a car or a motorbike, will definitely stop to watch the matches. Then the same thing happening inside Caladan. Definitely, it will just be a converging point where people, either in the evening, in the mornings, will just have to drive, come and park, and then watch football. Then the food sellers, the food vendors, and then what have you, will also begin to take advantage of it and then begin to mass up there to get their daily income. So it is a very magnificent something we are doing, and the benefits, when it starts in full blow, the benefits would just be trickling. If you are selling jerseys, you are selling whatever, anything sport, and then anything that at least would be able to eat and then keep people on their feet, people would definitely troop to the field there, and then it would attract the numbers. And when corporate sponsors come around and they see the numbers converging at one place, then they are excited. They will begin to follow you. That they want to sponsor, they need to want to, because they have seen that you are able to bring hundreds of people together at a particular venue to come and then watch football. 4 or 5 matches going on at the same time on those pitches. And then definitely they want where the numbers congregate and where the numbers converge. And if they would get this through football, they'll be willing to support. You don't go to a sponsor to go and then seek sponsorship or support, and then the person come. What is it that you have done on your own? I hope you are getting it.
Yeah, I'm following.
Yeah, the corporate sponsor, the entity or the investor should come and see that even in the midst of the difficulties you are having, the challenges, you have been able to do something like this. So let me also come. Where is it that I need to also improve upon? Then the person comes again and then, oh, well, let me also do this for you. You can't be playing games where, like I said, the posts are not good. You don't have nets, corner flags are not there. And then it should come so that when you stand from A to Z, You see the corner flags all flying. Then you have nets at the back of the goal post and everything. And then well ruled. You get people to rule it very well. You have these white marks all over the field, well demarcated. And then anybody coming there to stand there and then no, well, it's a delight to watch. Then somebody comes to tell you, I want to erect a billboard here, at least to advertise my product or that. Then you begin to see that, well, income will begin to come to the Regional Football Association, and then possibly we can also be giving something small to the Regional Sports Council, because at least the area there belongs to them, or they are the custodian of that distance. So that is the way it goes, because the person knows that every day at least 500 people would visit that venue. So when I advertise there, definitely it is going to give me the mileage I want, and we'll begin to make progress from there.
All right, Chairman, thank you so much. We've done a little over an hour. I don't know if there's anything we've left out you want to voice it out before we close. Your final comments.
Well, all I can say is that all stakeholders in the game, the media, supporters, club owners, players, should support the regional ESCO to be able to implement the very, very good and brilliant ideas we have. We have just started. We are not saying we should not be criticized. We are ready for criticism. It's just too early in the day. People should learn to be patient. Just continue to support us at this stage, and then we'll begin to roll out very, very good programs. At the end of the day, they would do their own assessment, and then if they think that we have done a good job, they will definitely pat us on the shoulder. So we need the media. The media should definitely support us at this stage, and then just continue to, if they also have ideas, chip them in, and then we'll take them on board and see how we can improve the game. So all stakeholders, we are calling on the supporters, sports callers, the sports analysts, radio presenters, corporate Ghana, team owners, and then players alike, referees, and almost everybody, the security agencies, everybody that has a role to play in the upliftment of the game should come on board, and then together the regional ESCO would definitely execute on our mandate. We are also appealing to those in the district to support the district football associations so that they can also begin to do things differently at the district level too.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you, and then I'm most grateful for having me on your show.
Okay, so that was Alhaji Rhyzo. He is the Northern Regional Football Association chairman. We have had this one-on-one, and I believe that most of you have your doubts and every question that you had concerning COVID, pre-COVID, COVID issues, and then cancellation of the league. Every issue has been settled now. We'll work on the video also. Those who didn't get a chance to watch can watch it later on YouTube and then also on Facebook as well. Good evening, Chairman, and we appreciate your time. We'll be falling on you as and when necessary.
Most grateful.
Okay, so we would end it here. It's been wonderful coming your way. And as I always indicate, kindly please read our stories. www.sports24online.com. www.sports24online.com. Read all our stories. Just log on, read our stories, and follow us on Facebook, sports24online.com. On Twitter, it's at S24online. Just follow us. And then on YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel, sports24online.com. My name is Kwaku Oduro for short. This has been the Sports 24 show. today or this night, tonight, we had a one-on-one with Alhaji Rhyzo, who is the Northern Regional Football Association chairman. Enjoy your evening. Have a lovely weekend, and may the good Lord be with us all. Stay safe, be good, and do what is required of you as we fight this battle against this invincible enemy called COVID-19. This too shall pass. We'll start trooping into the stadia to watch our favorite sport, that is football. Good evening.